All right, good evening. It's 7 p.m. and this is the August 12, 2015 meeting of the Auburn Conservation Commission. The first item on tonight's agenda is the 7 o'clock public hearing, an application from Falcone. Is it Falcone or Falcon?
Falcon.
Sorry. Falcon Construction LLC, requesting determination for the installation of light poles at 209 Washington Street in Auburn. Is there a motion to open? Okay.
Second.
Okay, so Tom, you moved to open?
Yes.
Second from Carolyn, is there, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote.
Okay,
Come on up.
all right. I'm John Bagalio. I'm a project manager for Falcon Construction. It's a pleasure to meet you. Essentially, and I'll use this visual aid, this is a Penske truck leasing location on Route 20. There is no security or site lighting on the site right now, short of 2 or 3 light pads on the building. The client has asked us to improve their security and safety by adding some 5 light poles to the location. Tentatively placed here, 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 and here. On the original site map that we have, we don't know where that was provided to us by Penske. We don't know who drew it, where it came from, the whole bit. This area here is listed as a wetland. So
It's pretty dry to me.
it does, and I was actually there today, and I have some. It's actually higher than the parking lot too, so it's not a depression. Either way, we know there's a 25 no work buffer in Auburn. The one light pole that's here, obviously, is within the 25 feet. Our concern is that it truly doesn't look like a wetland. From my experience, what I see there, the vegetation that's there doesn't look like a wetland. It looks more like straw, not really cattails or anything like that. And there obviously has been work within the 100-foot and 25-foot buffer to pave the lot previously. So what we're asking for is that one light pole doesn't have to be relocated or omitted to make the lighting plan for this site work as best as it can.
Okay, now you're not a wetland specialist, correct?
I am not a wetland specialist. I have done plenty of work with conservation commissions in the area, though. I will admit I'm not a professional in that area.
Do you happen to know when that parking lot was paved?
I do not have that information, sir.
All right. Okay. And that's really the only area sort of in question, correct?
Correct, because the other ones, this one here is within the 100-foot buffer by definition. The other ones are all outside the 100-foot buffer.
Okay.
So that's what we got.
All right.
I've got some other photos too of the site if you want to see a little more specific where it is up close.
Please.
Yeah. I have 3 packets. You guys can hand them around.
Oh, great. There you go. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. But basically, I try to delineate where the buffer is on the ground and show the actual placement of where the pole is going to be on the edge of the parking lot. All the work that we plan to do will not be beyond the existing pavement. That's the other piece also. So we will not interrupt any new impervious surface.
So you're just trying to replace the existing telephone poles?
There are none.
Oh,
That's it. We're adding new ones. That's the issue. The place is as dark as it can be, and it's a safety and security issue for
I
them.
got 2 questions for you.
Sure.
What do you need to do regarding excavation?
Oh, literally, there's going to be a trench to bring power to where the pole's going to be.
Right.
And it's going to be a 5-foot circle, 5 feet deep. We're going to plant a precast concrete base in it, and then the pole will plant on top of that concrete base.
Excellent.
So,
How deep will you go?
5 feet.
Okay.
The trench will only be about 18 inches to 2 feet.
And how are you going to dig it?
Excavator will saw cut the pavement, do a trench, do a small, probably foot to 18-inch wide trench. With an excavator, we'll leave all those spoils on the hardtop. There's a plan for wattles and protection of the storm drains while we're doing that work. And then basically it gets compacted, put back, the bases are cast in concrete, and the pavement is replaced once we're done.
Where is it located next to it?
What's that?
Penske.
That's right.
209 is
It's Route 20. It's right near Washington. It's the intersection. I can describe it to you at landmarks. It's really tough.
No, landmark is fine.
AIM Welding Supply.
Absolutely,
It's
got it.
This
Okay.
is right here actually. I believe.
I got it. Okay. Just before the
Work there.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, got it. Yes.
All right.
Before the bridge, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes. It's across from the storage. It's on the right hand side. Right across.
I apologize, you have the detail right here, I just didn't...
It's okay.
catch it.
No, I get it. There's a lot on that one sheet. I know.
Yeah.
So it's
Keep going. Basically. You got it.
Any other questions from the board? You know, the fact that there was a wetlands, I mean, we don't know what the current status is of the wetlands,
Right.
and that does give me a little pause.
From the photo, it looks like it's Phragmites, which is invasive, but it's still wetland.
If it is wetland, then, you know, that would trigger notice of intent.
Which is fine, and that's why we're doing this to find out what the next step is. If it's a notice of intent, that's fine. If we need to omit the pole or move the pole, just omitting or moving the pole then affects their ability to use their lot.
I understand.
Right. So we're just trying to figure out what the next step is.
All right, very good.
Any other questions or?
No, I mean, I think it's very straightforward.
Okay, great. Thank you for your time, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to close?
So move.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, it's a vote. Okay, thank you.
Sure. Just add that to your file.
If I may, the next public hearing is at 7:15. I'd like to take the matter out of order. We received, as you will recall, a request for a certificate of compliance for 246 Bryn Mawr Avenue, and it was one of those things that's been waiting for us to inspect. I did go out there actually this afternoon. I spoke to Doug Flink, who showed me the property. This is a very old filing, and he advised me apparently what triggered the request for the certificate of compliance was I guess he and his wife were refinancing the property, and because the order of conditions showed up on the title, they wanted to just proceed with the certificate of compliance. I went out there, the construction took place a very long time ago. Everything seemed to be in order. I don't know if anyone else has had an opportunity to go out there.
Which house is this on the map specifically?
It is.
It's one of these, isn't it?
It is. It's right after the intersection with Leicester Street.
So the one with the pool here?
It's actually the one next to it. No, go down. That's it.
That one.
Yes.
That's as much as I can give you.
Well, that's enough. I mean, basically everything, you know, there's no evidence of any issues with the pond. This is a very neat property. So unless, can I have a motion?
Motion to issue a certificate of compliance based on the chairman's visual inspection of the site.
Okay. I can say that. Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote.
Alrighty. I need to get mine in. Just talking in my head. Get better answers that way.
Yeah,
Okay.
and in doubt, always ask yourself.
All of us have scribbles except for Louise. Have you noticed that?
I don't write much by hand anymore.
Yeah, I don't either. It feels funny with Jim in my
You can
hand
read,
every once
no,
in a
Mike's
while.
is pretty good though.
Well, mine is just
Trump
a...
Fallon, I would never know what
Mine's a
that is.
scrawl.
That looks like a G.
I have like an MC going on.
Whose is that one now? It's pretty good. Looks like two letters.
What
kind
is
of
that one?
like
That's
that.
yours? Yeah. I had to
No, that's
I used to
Dan.
Oh,
teach.
that's Dan. Oh, that's Dan.
Hey,
Oh, all
what's
right.
up with yours?
Wow.
Has it gotten worse over the years?
I just get lazy.
Dan.
I guess.
Like, like a doctor.
I write so little by hand now. I mean, it's just type, type, type.
Okay.
No, my handwriting has got worse after law school.
My husband just puts
Right.
first name first initial, so that's. Okay.
Writing by hand's so inefficient anyway.
That's true.
Okay.
That means that you see. So if we issue a negative, it means we can all issue a positive. So negative is good, it's not, it's. No, negative doesn't count. Right.
It's the other way around, okay. Or the opposite.
So the little ones are sugar-free, and then the slightly thick ones are tinctured.
These ones?
Yep.
Yep. Those are really good.
Yeah, it's the Trader Joe's ones.
I'm gonna have to get those for my boat when people get seasick and stuff.
They're kind of like Altoids, except not as strong.
Did I get that? Did I get, oh, I did. Mine here. I get them all the signatures.
Looks like it's that time.
Is it? My trusty font.
Synchronized chronometers.
I have 714.
Oh, Verizon still says 714.
Yeah, mine does
It
too.
was a Greenwich Mean
Where
Time.
did they get the time on
What's that?
this one?
Greenwich Mean Time.
Charter?
Well, there's a discrepancy apparently.
Chatter just.
I have 715, okay.
Ah,
Chatter 7:50.
All right. The next item on tonight's agenda is a 7:15 public hearing from Richard McCarthy, request for determination for the construction of a 4-unit apartment building at 404 Oxford Street in Auburn. Is there a motion to open?
I so moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? To vote. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Can you identify yourself?
Yes, my name is Richard McCarthy. I was born and I was raised at 282 Central Street.
Okay.
I'm a lifelong, off and on resident of Auburn. I've been a carpenter and contractor in Auburn and the surrounding towns since 1983. I brought a number of defunct properties and over the years and brought them back to life. I've actually a couple of newspaper clippings and thanks from the town from some of the properties I've done. I bought this property with the intention of making handicap accessible living. My special needs daughter is 22 and I'm trying to set her up for the place for the rest of her life. I'd like to take this, I don't know which way you want me to take the conversation.
Well, it appears that you had the wetlands designated by Waterman and Associates. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I had the wetlands, yes, the wetlands were delineated, yes, sir. The wetlands were delineated from the main structure because that is a solid reference point. And then we did an overlay to show what the property would look like and, as far as meeting all the requirements. We meet all of the requirements, and if there was any question that the 25-foot buffer, I'm more than willing to alter. Like I said, I have an unrestricted license. I plan to draw the plans. I plan to work in conjunction with the town is 100%. I have a good history with the town.
Well, let me ask you, who actually did the plan? Did you do the plan?
This was done by Waterman.
Okay. See, all I have, the
yeah, I don't.
portion that was given
That's,
to me
yeah,
was
here's the
this.
full plan here, I'm sorry.
Yes, and that, I have another one here if you'd like.
We'll give it over here.
Would you like me to pass?
Sure, we'll pass it over here. Okay, we'll give it to Mike and, here, thank you. We'll take a look at this.
No, the property goes all the way through to,
I just wanted to make sure I was real fresh,
the property goes all the way through to Brentwood
Yeah, they
Avenue.
are,
There's a
okay.
considerable drop off. This is the way the property looks now. What I'm proposing to do, sir, is in the future, I had him delineate the wetlands that are on this end, and I don't oppose, none of this is here, this is just for my reference. I do my intentions were, I would like to do a one split the lot. I meet all my requirements for this, and then this is just a reference point for me
What I'm
to
saying is,
decide which route I want to go, if I'm going to do wetlands replenishing, or if I'm going to cut this down to 2, or if I'm even going to do anything. That's just for my reference. And then the next
oh,
one.
okay, I got you.
Right. An aerial of the property, this is the wetlands right over here.
Oh, this whole thing was one big lot.
I got
It's delineated over there.
Wanted to put the wetlands on one.
The property-
Wants to just build.
The property drops
Oh, wow,
off,
nice.
the property drops off in the back, it would be a full walkout basement. I did talk to briefly to Coyle about curb cuts.
Why don't we just take one step at a time, okay?
Exactly.
Excuse me?
Unless we give them a check out,
Hello?
a way
Okay,
of which.
Tom.
Hi.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Are you going to need ZBA approval to get, I mean, this is one large lot. You're going to need to subdivide it, correct?
Yes, sir.
And have you gone to either the planning board or the ZBA in order to do
I
that?
have an appointment with the ZBA on August 20th.
Okay.
And
That's just for the multi-family use.
I guess,
I meet all of their requirements as well. I do have letters from what I understand. I just have to go through formalities. I'm not looking for any variances or anything like that. I meet the requirements, I believe, sir.
but if I read the plan correctly, it looks like you're building in the wetland.
May I come over there?
Well,
On the left side.
The outline of the house is,
side over
it's
there.
not
Let
only,
me just maybe explain.
Nothing's being done on
Right,
Brentwood.
you explained that to me, but
Okay,
it's
I'm
not,
sorry.
there was a lot of
sorry.
confusion
Yes,
here,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Go
Okay, no,
ahead, yeah.
I'll clarify that.
Okay.
There's nothing at all going on in Brentwood Ave. I'm not a problem. I'm not, this is something down the road.
Right.
All I want to do is just from here back, I want to subdivide the property into two and just concentrate on this and maybe do what I can in a year or two or so
Okay,
with
nothing's
that.
happening there right
Sure.
Am I missing something?
wait, so which part are you not doing?
Brentwood Ave, sir.
This, so
part.
this
Brentwood
whole
Ave.
thing right here.
Correct, correct.
Okay, so we're just looking at that Oxford Street
Yes,
side?
ma'am.
Oh,
So
groovy.
just for future reference, that's probably the biggest thing that stuck out on this proposed plan for me is the proposed outline of that building
Oh, that's
is really not
Okay.
good. Really not good.
I 110% agree with you. When I contracted with Waterman and he flagged it out, I just said, let's see what that looks like. And then when the different people I talked to at the town said that there's different things you can do as far as wetlands restoration, or I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I'm going to take it one step at a time and do it by the book.
So we'll ignore that half of
Yes,
this. Okay.
yes, sir. But what I'm looking to do is I believe, subdivide the property into the two.
Well, are you being somewhat premature in coming before us before you've had the opportunity to get approval from the ZBA to subdivide?
But I've already had,
It's planning, you have to go for subdivision. CPA, you have to go for multi.
For the planning board?
all right, I don't know if I'm on, I don't think I have the cart ahead of the horse. I had filed some requests and I got some paperwork back from the town. This isn't something that I do every day, so I'm kind of taking it one step at a time.
Okay.
He came to ask about a building permit, and that's what prompted this whole thing. They suggested conservation, then they suggested ZBA, because it's a multi-family use in a residential A zone. So that's what he's doing, and then if at some
Well,
point
what's
he
this
does
40?
decide to make it into 2 lots, you have to go to the planning board with a Form A.
What's the dimension of the house?
I had a
okay,
letter from the
right,
town.
right,
I don't-
Right here.
Yeah, but
This is for one, the ZIR.
Yes, okay. You familiar?
this is the last one. I'll get it.
Mr. McCarthy, just speaking for myself, based on what I've seen, it looks like you're going to need to file a notice of intent because there are wetlands on the property, and it looks like whatever building activity you engage in is still going to require perhaps we definitely have jurisdiction here, and based on what you're showing on the plan or what on the Waterman plan, we have jurisdiction. I believe it's going to require that a notice of intent be filed. Now, you may find that this is something that you can't do on your own. We can't advise you. We do not give advisory opinions. I'm sure that Mr. Waterman though could advise you or tell you what you need to do next.
Okay, so.
Okay. Again, this is just my opinion based on what's been submitted, but there are clearly wetlands on the property. It appears that whatever construction you do will have or has potential wetland impact.
May I say something?
Please.
I would encourage, it's right over across from the police, next to the police station, across from the basketball courts. We are nowhere near the wetlands in the back, and if you see
The problem though is that you've just told us that you put down a 4-unit building. And I'm looking now on the Oxford Street side, and that it definitely involves jurisdiction for us. And in fact, it looks like the edge of the building encroaches on the 25-foot no-build zone. So you're bringing it right up to the edge of the no-build zone.
I'll come back 2 feet. I'll come back. I'll do whatever.
My point there, though, sir, is that this is not. You need to get subdivision approval. It seems to me, and I would submit that this diagram is not enough for us to make a determination or to give you a negative determination. So I mean, I'm not sure how you want to proceed with this, and again, I'm speaking only for myself.
I mean, I would add to that, just imagining where the 25, 50, and 100-foot buffer zone lines on the other side of the site that you're not proposing right now. That side is going to be complicated, it seems, in a way that the Oxford Street side may not be. It may be additionally complicated. So, just speaking for myself, I mean, looking at what's been submitted here, I would say you would need to file an NOI. It wouldn't be a request for determination, it would be a notice of intent.
We will take a look. I mean, we always like to make sidewalks.
I would love to meet you there. If you,
But again, sir, based on what I'm seeing here, we know Waterman's work, and he enjoys a good reputation. The plan shows wetlands, and I don't think going out there is it won't affect my opinion. I think, and I've seen enough on this plan, and based on Waterman's report where it says there are wetlands present at the property, to suggest that it does trigger jurisdiction. And the way this works is that if, unless it's minimally invasive activity, and this is not minimally invasive, it would just trigger a positive determination, and you'd have to file a notice of intent.
Okay. If I'm going through this here myself. If would it change anything if I made that a 3-unit building and took another? Okay, I don't.
I can't advise you, sir.
Oh yeah. Well, I wasn't. All right.
So you have a couple of options here. We can close the public hearing, and we will make a decision based on what you've submitted to us. If you wanted to continue this to our next meeting and want to submit additional information to us, we could also by that time have an opportunity to go out to the property, take a look. We can do that as well. But really, it's up to you, sir.
I think the wise thing to do would be to, with the last thing you just said, continue it. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm not looking to make any speed records here.
Okay. Do we have anything scheduled for August 26th?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So 7 p.m.?
Yep.
Okay, and that's agreeable to you, Mr. McCarthy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
May I have a motion?
I move that we continue this to August 26th at 7 p.m.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? It's a vote.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
7 o'clock. Who made that motion?
Thanks again, everybody.
He made it. I seconded it.
Okay. I think this was mine. Okay? Oh, you want to get that one to yourself? I'll keep this folded up.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Thanks again for your time.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye now. Have a good night, all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Larry.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good.
Excellent.
No complaints.
You're next. Yep.
On?
Not yet. It's not 7:30 yet. We try to run on military time here, Larry.
Military time? Oh, okay.
May I ask one question, sir? I missed the end of that. You need me to file an NOI? Is that what the end state?
We haven't made a decision yet.
Okay. How do I wait to find out what that is, or is that published?
You don't have to wait. We'll probably make a decision this evening.
I'll hang around. No problem.
Okay?
Thank you.
As you wish.
It's 7:30.
Okay. The next The next item on the agenda is the 7:30 public hearing. Herb Chambers, a notice of intent
Thank you.
for the expansion and renovation of a building at 805 and 809 Washington Street, Auburn. Is there a motion open?
So move.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
It's a vote. Okay.
Thank you. Good evening. Again, for the record, Mike Andrew, Graves Engineering. I brought with me tonight the General Manager, Dan Borlucci of Herb Chambers Toyota, and Project Attorney Larry Broder. Commission, I'm sure, is aware about a month ago, we issued a denial of order conditions for a notice of intent for this project. Since that time, we've read through the decision. We went back and reviewed the video of the meeting where that decision was made in hopes to address some of the comments and concerns that the commission had about the project. It was apparent to me that either I didn't provide the information you folks needed or convey it properly in order to support the waiver request that we were asking for. So we're back with some more information on that. And we've made some minor changes to the plans. I'll go over that and then I'll talk about the information that we have that's new tonight. So the plan is virtually the same as it was last time you saw it, with the proposed addition on this side of the site. None of this work has changed from the last time we presented it. Overall, we're about doubling the size of the building. And just to review, this is primarily a service-based expansion, although they are doing work on sales and other interior spaces in a full exterior renovation. So they're increasing the number of service bays from 17 to 30 and reorganizing the parking around the site. The site, as you know it, is kind of bounded by these two wetland areas here. And I'll talk in a minute about why this expansion is located here, but I'll point out the difference that we made since the last time you saw this plan. You'll recall we had some proposed encroachments into the 0 and 25 and 25 and 50 foot buffer zones. Am I in your way? No. I'm sorry. Over here, those still remain. We did previously propose some mitigation here. This is an existing paved area and underground propane tanks. We're going to remove those, relocate them, and revegetate that to woods. We've added another area here. We're going to be cutting out this corner of the parking lot that's in the 25 and 50 foot zone. The combination of these two areas fully offsets the proposed disturbances and in fact increases the area from 0 to 50, the 0 to 50 foot buffer zone by about 109 square feet overall on the site. So we're fully mitigating our proposed impacts here with these two areas. And again, these would be, these are upland areas now. They would be planted with like vegetation that's currently in the 0 to 25 foot buffer. So we call them renaturalization areas. That's just our term, but we would plant them with trees and ground cover and vegetation to match what's existing in the area. So that's the plan and what has changed. And going through the commission's decision and comments, I prepared a waiver request letter dated July 28th, which I hope you all have. And I'll just jump to the end of that on page 4, where I provide a response to the comments that were in the commission's decision on the negative order of conditions. And in that letter, you listed 3 reasons why you felt that we failed to meet the burden of proof for the requested waivers. Now, I'd like to go through those one by one if you don't mind.
Sure.
So on the first comment was relative to section 1.11 standard, granting the waivers would serve a substantial public interest, which stated that the applicant offered no objective evidence in support of these statements. In this letter, you turn back to page 1, we have a discussion on how this project we feel serves substantial public interest, and I'll just go through a couple points on it. But again, the impetus for this project is the changes to the building and site are driven by Toyota. They currently have a license that expires next month, and part of my waiver request letter, I gave you some backup on what Toyota is looking for them to do as far as increasing sales floor area, service bays. Those are all requirements that any manufacturer requires the buildings to make improvements so they can continue with the license. And in fact, today, Mr. Barlucci handed me another agreement that was signed by Herb Chambers indicating some dates on when they're supposed to have all their permits in hand and when construction is supposed to be complete and commenced. And that's something I can hand those out and you'll see that as well. But so this project is really driven by the requirements for Toyota so they can keep their license. If the dealership's unable to make these changes, it is possible that the Toyota license could be lost. I'm not saying that to be dramatic. It is actually a fact that could happen. However unlikely it may seem, it could happen if we're not able to do the project and meet Toyota's requirements.
Can I stop you there?
Yes.
I mean, it clearly is in the dealership's interest to expand the building because it's being driven by the parent or whatever the relationship is between Chambers and Toyota USA or whatever it is. But my question was, how does granting the waiver serve the public interest, all right? Not the private business interest, but the interest for people in the town of Auburn.
Yep. And I addressed that a little bit on the second page, in the third paragraph. The dealership now employs about 90 people right now, and if that dealership were to close, many of those people could very likely lose a job. And Herb Chambers' investment in the town and the tax base that the town collects from them could be lost. The property could become a wasting asset, and car sales and service business provided the town would be lost. Herb Chambers is also a very good corporate citizen. They're actively involved in charities like the Auburn Youth and Family Services through the 200 Foundation, which Mr. Borlucci is the chairman of, and through the Auburn Chamber of Commerce. And those benefits would be lost as well if the dealership does end up not being continuing business. So. Those are some of the reasons why we feel the public interest is best served, is served by the project. In addition to just providing a more modern dealership and service area for residents both of Auburn and the surrounding area, allowing the business to grow and the town to grow with it as well.
Can I just ask a question? So if this expansion goes through, this says that every once in a while, it doesn't really say how many years, what's going to happen when they're required to actually expand again then?
The thought had crossed my mind as well. I mean, I was personally wondering whether
There's nowhere
Toyota
else
has
it
a
can
waiver that dealerships can use. What if the site was even more constrained? To her question, what happens 25 years from now when Toyota says you need to expand again and there's no room? There's no room.
Yeah. I think at that point, obviously this project represents, in my opinion, I think the maximum build-up on this site. In the next, whatever the period is, in the next 20, 25 years when needs expand and Toyota says, hey, we need you to upgrade again, there's a very real potential they may be looking at new property. They're not at that point yet. We feel we can do this expansion on this site. That's what we're proposing at this point. So I can't really speak to in the future, but my guess is I don't know how much else we can do on the site without removing some of the existing parking lots that are on the side and doing a building or something there, moving parking somewhere else. Those types of things we need to look at. Okay.
Not to cut you off, but
Sure, no, go ahead.
tell me about the alternatives analysis that you performed. When you were designing this,
Yep.
what other designs, if any, did you consider before coming up with this plan?
So, in conjunction with Regent Architects, who is primarily an automobile architect, they do many of Herb Chambers dealerships, and they have a very good understanding on how the dealership business flows interior from sales to service and all those areas. So when we looked at this site, we said, there's an existing building sort of in the middle of the wetlands, and we're bounded on both sides. There's some room to expand. Could be, which way is the best way to expand here? And knowing that it's a service expansion, and the existing service area is on this side of the building, it makes logical for flow of the building to expand to the west. We looked at, we've got some room here. It's even more limited than this side. Can we sort of split the expansion and do a little bit this way, and then will that possibly allow this to come out less on the west side? And it just doesn't work as far as laying out the service bays and the rest of the building inside. My opinion is we would approach even closer in this corner here, because we still need to maintain a fire lane around the building. So any expansion in this corner pinch off the access around this part of the building. But more importantly, it just doesn't work with the interior of the building. And I provided a letter from Regent stating that, as well as backup to my waiver request. So that was looked at. And again, having a separate building doesn't work. You can't go any closer to Route 20, you can't go any further back, because the property line is right there. So the most logical area was to the west, where it's an existing parking lot. We tried to keep it within those boundaries as best we could. You can see the building has got this jog in the back. We lost some service bays to accommodate that, to keep the disturbance out of the wetland areas and to maintain the fire lane around the building. So this design that you see before you was the result of many discussions and some iterations on how to go about this expansion. We feel this is the most practical alternative, if you will, that we can come up with.
I have a question from Mr. Bertolucci.
Yeah.
Is this expansion, this is company-wide, correct? This is sort of an agenda from the corporate parent to just expand dealerships and service areas? Is that fair?
No, it's not from corporate, it's from Toyota. It's part of our covenant with Toyota. We have to have a certain amount of service space, so that's why we have to expand.
And so they're mandating or telling you how many service bays you need to have?
In fact, their license is up in September of this year.
Okay. I'm curious, is this also being driven by competition, by other dealerships sort of undertaking the same sort of activities where they're just expanding facilities, if you know?
I wouldn't know that, but I don't think it's motivated by competition. I mean, we're happy to be in Auburn. We do a great job in Auburn. And you want to see that? Excuse me, I'm sorry.
No, sure.
I have letters here from the corporate office if you'd like to see them. I think that might explain some of this.
Thank you.
If I could, Mr. Chairman, just to clarify.
Please.
When Dan talks about corporate, he's talking about Toyota.
Toyota Motor Company,
I understand.
not our corporate office.
Not her change.
Right.
We're just trying to comply with what Toyota needs at this point.
So, just to follow up on that, attached to the back of my waiver request letter is this table here. This is prepared, it comes from Toyota. And if you look under the headings, it says what the actual facility is. It has all the floor areas and number of service stalls. You'll notice that the service stalls, they only have 17 service stalls now. And then in the middle is a column called recommended guideline. Well, it's not really recommended, that's what they're requesting that we expand to. And that is 28 stalls, which is what this project would create. So that's the goal we're trying to get to with this project. And those numbers are reiterated in this letter I just handed out to you here, as well as the dates that all this is supposed to be completed by.
Right. Okay. Everything else?
We'll just touch on the other two items real quick. Sure. The second item, and that was listed in this commission's decision, where it was relative to section 111, there are no practical alternatives to proposed action. I think we just talked about that.
Yes.
Why the plan is the way it is. And the third item was the applicant did not offer wetland revocation. I was a little confused on that one. And I know the way your bylaw is written, your regulations are written, you consider the 0 to 50 a resource area. Mm-hmm. We've proposed, as I mentioned, to mitigate those impacts. These areas that were working in our wooded areas now, they're upland wooded areas. We would be mitigating that with the same upland wooded areas. We aren't working at all within the actual wetland boundary. This is heavy blue line. So we are proposing wetland replication, if you will, wetland plantings and veg. If that's something the commission wants to see, we can certainly consider that. But at this point, we're just proposing to match the area that we're encroaching into, upland.
I seem to remember one of the questions was that the erosion control measures were basically going to have to be planted in the wetland, like at the edge of the wetland, because the retaining wall was basically all the way up to the edge of the wetland.
This retaining wall is actually below the wetland. At this corner right here, this wall is, I think it's maybe 4 or 5 feet at the highest in the corner below the wetland. So to construct the wall, you wouldn't need to put any erosion control up on the wetland. Nothing's eroding that direction. It's coming from the wetland onto the site.
Okay.
And that really is the closest point of the work right there. That back of that wall, and this wall is schematic. The actual wall is probably going to be somewhat less narrow than this, but even from the back of this wall now, which I think we have about 5 feet wide, there's 3 feet from the back of the wall to the wetland line.
And the propane tanks, you're gonna actually put in where it says, is that where you're gonna put them, where it says 7 parking spaces?
Yeah, right now there's a small little notch in the parking lot with this 7 spaces here. Those will be removed, and those tanks will be placed under the, partially under the lawn, partially under the parking in this area right here, so they'll be right behind these bollards. So again, and I didn't really count this area, although I could have. This is currently impervious and will be made grass, landscaped. So it's a paved area that's becoming lawn. I didn't include that in this because we're not planting it, allowing it to go natural. But it is further reduction in impervious. In fact, the project overall, it sounds like a big project, the doubling the building size, but the actual increase in impervious surfaces overall is only about 971 square feet. That's about 0.5% of the total lot of 805 and 809.
It's just, I don't know, I keep dwelling on this. But when you move those tanks to the parking lot, you're gonna have, I'm gonna say excavators, right? Pulling up the tar from the 7
To
parking
remove these?
spaces.
Oh,
Well, that
yes.
and that's inside the 25-foot buffer zone too. So if you're gonna have to do like the hay bale, all the silt precautions and everything else like that, because
Yes.
there's gonna be heavy equipment within the 25-foot buffer zone.
Yeah, we have that on the plan. We have hay bales and silt fence all around this wetland for temporary protection. I think even Mr. Wright was mentioning. We may have even shown a line here, but I don't think it's necessary.
You're just working really close to the red line.
Yeah,
basically.
if nothing else is to tell people, hey, here's the wetland, you can't go past this point. But certainly in this spot, it's relatively flat, but the wetland will be protected during the temporary disturbance that's going on to relocate those tanks.
It occurs to me that since you need to pull out those propane tanks anyway, what would be the difficulty in extending the wetland instead of just renaturalizing the area?
In this area here?
Yes.
I don't think there's any difficulty. It's kind of slightly higher than the wetland. It could be excavated out.
You're gonna have to excavate anyway.
Yeah, exactly. There'll be quite a hole there when we pull those 4 tanks out anyway, but
Would that be a possibility?
that would be a possibility, yes.
Okay. How many square feet is that approximately?
Which area?
Right where the propane tanks are. I'm thinking if you draw a straight line down.
This sort of little triangle here?
Yes.
I wish I had a scale.
That's all right.
That's probably, that's 20, it's 20 by 50. Could be 700-800 square feet, somewhere in that neighborhood, I'm guessing.
Okay. Very good.
So that was my response to that, the third item that was listed in your decision. I could certainly go in more detail on anything, excuse me, more detail on anything else that was in my letter or any other questions that the commission has. Comments, concerns, or for anything else that's here.
Any questions from the board? Anyone? Any questions from the audience? Okay. I've been out to the property. I don't know if anyone else has been out to the property.
Nope. I meant to, and then...
Well, do you recall when we were out there last, was it a couple of years ago?
Well, I've been out
When we
there
looked at
more.
the bridge?
I've been out there
That
more
was a couple,
recently.
yeah, that was like 2 years ago, I believe, right? Okay.
Suggesting we should take another look.
We could do that if that's agreeable to the applicant.
At this point, we're willing to do whatever it takes, I think. If the commission wishes to view the site again, they're certainly welcome to
All right.
accommodate.
7:15 on August 26th, Sheila?
Yeah?
Okay, can I have a motion?
I'm up. Sorry.
7:15 on August 26th.
Continue.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Okay, we'll make arrangements to go out there. I've been out to the property before, but we'll figure out when we're going to come out. We'll let you know. And but it's, the project itself is very straightforward. So it shouldn't, the site visit won't take that long. All right.
Very good.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
See you.
Next weekend on the run.
My son Todd says he thinks he'll be ready for 7 miles.
Yeah.
He hasn't been running.
Oh, sure. I'm sure it's really very nice.
Oh, no, I'm not. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
That's a tough one.
Okay.
I'm talking to myself again.
There you go again.
Yeah, I know. I like my answers.
Doing that tonight.
I know.
Are you all right?
It's kind of dangerous.
No.
Maybe she needs some caffeine as
I
well.
need a little caffeine.
He's got more than enough
Go to
caffeine.
Boston Donuts.
I need a little caffeine.
Oh, boy. All right, the next item on the...
Okay, all right.
Need some sugar
I
at
need
least.
something, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Ren Crosby is coming in.
The next item is 7:45, Mr. Kravoski.
Thank you very much, Mr. Allen. I'm here for Diamond Chevrolet, just to give an update and whatever other comments the commission might have, because you haven't heard from us for a while. The last time we had a walk with Julian Davies and Mr. Garland, Joe Simon, myself, and discussed the potential for mitigation on site, where we did have a problem with the denial of not finding wetland at the northern end of the proposed replication area near the service area, adjacent to the north side of our roadway.
What's our address here again?
This,
8th Avenue.
Faith Ave. Thank you. Since that time, we've been working with Mass DOT, as we said at that meeting, at the site inspection. Bill Clarity and Matt Ferrin. Matt Ferrin is maintenance, and Bill Clarity, you might see him in front of you now and then, as environmental for DOT on Belmont Street. We've had Waterman Associates survey the area. This would be the part of the loop road. In fact, to describe it, this portion of the loop right here, sorry, we're in here with this. Here's the Cadillac area, and then the channel, which is tough to describe, but it probably would flow into the road and this area and flows 330 feet down through this. In fact, that sand right here that you're seeing would be the channel. It has 3 feet of sand at the beginning of the channel. The culvert is a 36-inch culvert, and it's underwater when the water flows up because the sand builds up as a mound. It's 25 feet wide in this location, and that's all sand. And 2.5 feet down is the water table, hydric soils. At 100 feet down, it's 2 feet, 11 inches deep of sand. That's 100 feet. At 200 feet down, it's 2 feet, 10 inches deep of sand. And at 300 feet down, it's 10 inches of sand, and eventually there's a clog and it flows in. It's now creating a delta on 81. And this is all, we're working to create the plan with mitigation on site or replication. and to offer, working with DOT, our plans, working with them, permitting for them, and restoring wetlands that were showing up on 1972. We have the plans for the original layout of the Route 52, and it shows that there was a pond up gradient, flowing brook system coming down. This was part of the brook, that it was remade by man to eventually go underneath and paralleling 395 and then under 395 over to Eddie Pond.
Who owns that property?
This is DOT.
It is, they own it.
Yes, it's Mass DOT, it's part of the Clover Leaf.
Okay.
And we've worked with them in several instances where they've, potentially it's not called a violation, because it's going to be tough to call it a violation if the CN's been there for, let's say since 91. So, well, we could say that easily.
Yes.
Because so prior to 91, the grant decision, it's hard to go back after to somebody prior to 91. Not that most people would even look back that far, but because of that grant decision, every day that a fill stays in a wetland, it is a separate violation. So potentially talking to Phil in the past and other people, you could potentially go back to 91. We're looking at it now, it's an upland area because it's a growing upland vegetation, multiflora rose, Tartarian honeysuckle, a little bit of bamboo in there, and sparse, if you might call it, a couple percent of a couple of sedges that might be growing in the bottom. We would be looking to restore this area to a wetland as part of mitigation, as part of something to give back. As Julian Davey said, well, the commission, if we're using the 1055 4B 1 through 7 clause, which is may we fill some wetlands, why would the commission give that to us or allow us to use that? Possibly because we're working to give back something to the overall system, which is a wetland that's not discharging and creating a delta. We're actually measuring the delta on Eddie Pond to show to the commission what's been created by the amount of sand. This presently is an eroding channel. The water table is 2 feet under that channel. We just, Paula, the soil evaluator for Waterman, just finished the 2 test pits that we dug here. These test pits are completed, showing the water table is 30 to 33 inches down, the top of the water table, and then hydric soils. And over here, she just finished, and I just got the results today, and it's 43 inches down as this rises up. In fact, this is so thick with sand that came off from across the street and down through the system over the years that there is a conduit. This is a reinforced concrete conduit. At this location, you wouldn't know it's in there, but it's 1.5 feet buried under sands. So when I was doing my test pit, this is 2 weekends ago, we were digging down and I hit it. I thought it was a rock. I started moving it aside, and there was the conduit buried.
What condition is it in?
Huh?
What condition is that?
Oh, it's in great shape, but the point is, it's buried because of the amount. All I'm getting at is the amount of material that's come down into this system over the years.
Mm-hmm.
It's fanned out and filled in this area with at least 1.5 feet since the time that conduit was put in. We don't know the age of it right now, but it conceivably will go back to the 70s.
Okay.
So the point being is, we're looking to stabilize, to create this channel, stabilize it. It's presently eroding the bed load. We can go in there and see it. Your consultants will come down and see that it's constantly moving. It's at a gradient. These are not wetlands in here. We'll show by water table. The water table is not at the surface. And that we're working to replicate wetlands, which would mitigate any colloidals also coming off of upstream areas, beyond the colloidals that we're going to catch with any new stormwater systems that we put in place for our road, the new 350-foot road to take out the 1,360-foot road. So this would be eliminated as far as this. This isn't the only discharge. There's one more Waterman did not pick up. It comes directly off the catch basins from the road. I will get to them and ask them to pick that up so that we can show all discharges going into this area, which we will be eliminating. And then create a replication area here as one, and a secondary replication area up above, which would be up at the upper location. We would meet your standards for if it's 1.5 to 1 or whatever you're looking for now under your bylaw. And then as a give back too, we would be working with DOT, spending our time and effort in surveying and permitting, and working with, as I said, I talked to Bill Clarity today. The last hurdle we just went through is they asked if we had a access permit. After we were talking to them for months, we finally got the surveying done and the soil evaluation done in this location. Then when it was done, he asked, did you get a access permit? And I thought that was kind of like a wrench thrown in there. And in the end, that was a week and a half ago, we just satisfied that because there was no need for traffic to be stopped, and we were directly in the woods with the surveyors, that the people at DOT Belmont Street finally came back with comments to Bill Clarity, Matt Farron, and access permit people that said there was no permit needed to survey that area. So we don't have any problem with them. Now, this plan, along with a letter we generated in the next couple of days, will be going to Matt Farron Maintenance, and he will then go to his superiors and be working towards a plan to remove that sand and restore the area.
And who would pay for that?
This comes out of, some DOT work like this does as credits for mitigation that they actually need, so they can add it to their maintenance program. It would be maintenance and credit, and so overall, that's the title that it would fall under. We pay for everything to get to the permit, and they would do the work. We've also looked at these upper level tier. There's a level tier in here, and there's a level tier over here, so it comes up out of a bank and then levels out. We're hoping that we could stabilize the material on site so that we don't have to truck it off site. We'd be looking, the full plan would show all of that.
Okay.
So there's areas where it won't come back into the wetland system because it comes up and then it's level. And up in these areas now, it's exotic invasive. We're getting multiflora rose, mostly in European buckthorn, along with Tartarian honeysuckle, and some, there's a little bit of poplar, quaking aspen up there. But that's what we'd be looking to do.
Because it's a stage, say, would that require oversight from DEP, do you think?
Oh, yeah, it is. This would still go, even DOT is permitting. I think you saw that with the 12 and 20 where Bill Clarity was in front of you for that work.
Right.
This would clearly be permitted through your group,
Okay.
your commission. But it's our give back to, again, as I said before. And when I started the project with Diamond, this area, I was down there. We have photographs from me being there at the beginning of my involvement. So I always thought that I'd have to offer something back to the commission if the commission did allow us to do our road, the 350. And then we got involved with the argument about whether it was a wetland or not a wetland, and then that took that whole time. And then eventually, I think I did win part of that, and then in the end we lost the other part, that we didn't have water at the northern end of the replication.
Right.
So that's why we're looking at replication on our property, restoring an area. If we get you down there, you're going to see the problem that is at this location with erosion of that stream bed. You'll see all the stones continuing to move without any water. It's bone dry right now, only because this wetland system starts up at Langway. It's a very headwater wetland system, so again, it probably flows 2, 3, or 4 months of the year and then dries up. And when it hits, as Margaret Washburn did bring up, that the upper area is Canton soils up here, which are tighter soils. And when we get down to this lower valley, that's that glacial outwash. It's a drift. It's a coarse gravel. So as the water is on the top of the hill and it gets down here, it then absorbs in the ground. That's why these test holes were deep, and we did find, but we're down in the lower part of the valley by this time when we go out to show you. And but again, the official soil evaluator that Margaret Washburn originally wanted, we were doing all our test pits again by that method. I know she's not your agent anymore, but that is the way it should have gone the first time, and we are following through with that now.
Okay.
So that's just an update to the commission.
When do you think you might have a plan for us?
Today they were directed to start, now that these 2 test pits are now logged, which was only happened last week, they've been directed by the Diamond Group to move forward with the replication and the full plan. So I would hope to have a plan in my hand in a month.
Very good. Okay.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. And Mr. Gravoski, since you're here, are you also going to appear for Mr. Pirro?
I believe, yes, I believe I am. If Mr. Perro says that I'm here to talk to you. Well, Mr. Perro, do you want to talk first? Because
I know I made a mistake, but there's a kind of a reason that probably doesn't mean anything, but I can tell you about it.
You should be my guest.
Well, it's probably 16 years ago that I came to 772. Bought that property 770 and 772. And what had happened is before when the road was just one way going back and forth, you know, that property was all overgrown, and all the debris from that property would, well, because I'm a car dealer, it goes all over the cars. Now, when the road was opened up and they made it 2 ways,
they actually did me a favor, because there was big, huge pine trees there that they took out when they did the road, and that relieved a lot of the sap and pine needles and stuff that, you know, I used to always clean. I did try coming to the town hall. My last person I spoke to was Charlie O'Connor, and I said, you know, Charlie,
Mr.
when I
O'Connor?
huh?
How many years ago was that?
That's all like that. Yeah. Well, no, but I've made, you know, you try, but you don't. It's hard to get anywhere. You know, you want to say, geez, look, how can you help me with this? Can we block it off, or can we put a fence or something? Because the property belongs to the town. It doesn't belong to me.
Right.
It belongs to the town. And my mistake, what I did recently, was I cleared part of it, which I have no business doing, and of course that's why I'm here. But I know I'm not right what I did. And I apologize, and I'll make good for it and all that.
Well, not to cut you off, but tell them the reason you're here is because we want you to tell us how you're going to fix it.
Well, I mean, if I have to, I'll restore it back to the way it was. I mean, really, all we did is clear that area, and of course, see, it's been a long time, and I know that nobody, my expenses to, you know, like I'd get the cotton balls, and would they be this thick? I'd get the birds that, when I went to see Charlie, I told him about how the birds were crapping all over the cars, and he almost fell on the floor laughing at the time. But he said, Mike, there's nothing we can do about it, you know. And I know this is not doesn't mean anything to anybody here, but you know, it meant something to me. But I did try talking to the town, you know, not just Charlie, whoever was the town manager at the time, maybe
Judy Jacobs.
well, I asked to talk to Julie, but I never got an appointment. And
All right, Mr. Pirro, we sent you an enforcement order back on a while ago.
Yes.
Last month.
And
We had asked you to file a notice of intent by July 22nd, and apparently you haven't done that.
well, no, I talked to a woman that, if you said her name, I'd remember it.
Sheila, I think you talked to
Sheila.
Sheila,
Yes,
right?
oh, yes, you did speak to me, yes.
Sheila. Yeah, I'm sorry.
In fact, if you had any questions, I directed you to speak to Ms. Conroy.
No. I did, and I had that form, and well, what did you tell me, Sheila?
I probably told you to hire somebody to help to fill out,
But
file the notice of
Oh,
intent.
Mr. Kravosky's here.
I put that so think in, you know, so nothing, whatever I disturb is not gonna touch anything.
Okay,
That is done. That was done right away. I did that right away.
all right.
Right away.
What else have you done?
Well,
Can I talk to you now, Mr. Turlo?
I think now.
If you're ready. Whenever you're
well, no, I mean, that's why I came here. Then you guys are gonna tell me what I gotta do, and
Right.
of course I'll do it. I'm not saying I'll do it,
Okay.
but I know it's not proper, but I honestly made the best effort I knew how to try to talk to the people at the town. It's got to be almost 8 to 10 years of going in and asking, and, you know, and saying, well, there's nothing you can do. And, you know, I stepped over the line, and I know that. But, you know, nobody cares about how it affects you. You know what I mean? And that's all I can say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you want me to say anything?
Yeah.
Please.
Maybe the commission needs to tell him what he has to do, because sometimes I think Mr. Perro doesn't understand. What I did tell Mr. Perro, and I talked to Mr. Coyle, so I will talk on this, because I'm not sure Mr. Perro will understand. Mr. Coyle, he did work, apparently he saw the violation, and there was some discussions, and because it is the town's property, and it was felt, at least, and the commission can either confirm this or not, that the property boundary would need to be identified so that we knew what is Mr. Perro's property and what is the town's property. I did go to the town hall and found the original, some mapping that the town must have had done for the school system. So that isolated wetland was identified at one time in the past with some delineation. We do have a sketch of that old flag line. Mr. Perro did not push into the wetland, but more than, maybe he's altered the wetland area 25, 30 feet along it. Overall, there's a 100-foot alteration zone.
Okay.
Some of it is in that's a plus or minus.
Right.
Some of it is upland, obviously it's buffer zone. It is isolated. It was dry, maybe it rained 0.75 inches yesterday in Oxford. Maybe it has water in it now, but it had dried up from the time that the fill occurred. But directly after the fill occurred, Mr. Perro did call me. He had my name from in the past when my girlfriend bought a car from him, and I talked to him briefly about that wetland, and that was about the size of it last December or something. And so he knew my name from that time. So I did find the old mapping. I could easily pass it around. It shows the general area of this isolated wetland, you'll see. Other mapping that shows the close proximity of Mr. Perro's building to a property line, which is an assessor's map, just showing that he's close.
What's our street address here?
What's your street address, sir?
Well, it's 772, but the town says it's the whole
Close enough,
770
he'll
and
find it. He'll find it from that.
There you go. You got it.
There it is.
Is that accurate?
Yep.
Sometimes Google Maps is not.
So
Yeah, that's accurate.
I haven't walked the full parameters of that. I went by the map that the town had made back sometime in the past. So what I saw was an isolated wetland. The map confirmed that. We'd have to look at that vegetated area over in the back of the building left to confirm it, but I think the town probably had it accurately delineated. But that's still under the bylaw. It's still a resource area. We understand that. It might hold a quarter acre foot of water. It might not. That's something that would have to be looked at too for that purpose. I think the simple, where those couple of black cars are, right? Yeah, the couple of black cars with the red car in the front of the building, but onto the left. Just to give a quick look. It's right in that area. So there was some material. It wasn't a large area. We'll just say that in general, there's an alteration of somewhere in here, or somewhere over here. There's a wetland. There's an original bank, because years ago, this bank did drop off, and I think somebody filled it a long time ago. So there's a distinct bank dropping off. This might be more gradual up in this area, but you'd have the leaf litter, the vegetation sticking up. We're doing one right now in Sturbridge just like this. With a mini excavator, you excavate down through it. There's the old surface. You understand then where the original surface lied, what it was. And then normally you would just restore back to that original surface. There might be some vegetation needed, but luckily he didn't go too far in it. I did talk to his contractor, and he did put the silt fence line in immediately, and I sent you a photo just because I knew we weren't going to comply with the 7/22 date, but I wanted to show that we didn't want to ignore you. We just felt that, I think we got it on the 7/17, and it was just too short of a period of time to get it. We have talked to 2 surveyors. He has a lady and gentleman out of Auburn that I'm not familiar with, and we also have a price by LaPrade Surveying.
Field Resources.
Field Resources is their name?
Yeah.
They were going to be here and listen to us in the back. I don't see them today, they're not there, but they wanted to, so I felt that whichever one comes in, they're going to pick up the existing conditions. There might be a redelineation in that corner. Mr. Coyle did state that, because he talked to Julie Jacobs, that if Mr. Perro was interested in purchasing this piece, which he had been in the past, that this would be the time to maybe create a plan that showed a property line, showed how much upland was in there, and the issue there is that you have the bylaw now that restricts a lot of use of that land. So he might never get any use out of it, but we do understand the first state is to restore it. The second would be what he can get out of it.
Mr. Perro, just so I'm clear, why did you clear this out?
Why did you push him?
Well, yeah.
It's just the debris that blows over. I mean, it's amazing what comes over. So I said, well, if I clear it, it won't blow over.
I think in the past it was scrub vegetation. If we look at the rest of the vegetation on that left-hand side of the building, face standing on the road, it's scrub, and every so many years he would just keep that vegetation down next to his building. This time he, instead of keeping it down in a manner of just cutting it with a weed whacker or something, it went to a bigger machine, let's say. And that bigger machine pushed some boulders and rocks over into the wetland, and then it was immediately, obviously, viewed by the town, and that's when he got the phone calls. I don't think it happened. The town must have viewed it probably the same day it happened, or the day after.
Right.
No, the same day.
The same day.
Very quickly.
So,
2 hours later.
2 hours later, so
Everybody was paying attention.
it's hard to miss you when you're right on 12.
Yeah.
So it's not a laughing matter. I'm not laughing about it. I'm just looking at, it's an easy restoration, but we have to get to, I believe, a plan as the commission asked for. I think Mr. Perot came here today to hear potentially that it requires a plan. Or if it doesn't, then we would go in under a restoration order, and I'm not sure if it could be that simple if the commission wanted it to be, and we would under someone's supervision, if he has me, we would remove the material down to the original evident soil surface, because that is evident. Fill going on top of leaf and brush, you get down and there's the roots, there's the leaf, there's the A horizon that was just buried. It's a very, we've done it for Emerald Construction at their own place. I don't want to bring those guys up years ago. For Anthony, 20 years ago, or anybody else that has fill. If the soil underneath has not been bulldozed over, which in this case it wasn't, you just end up exposing through a trench work. A trench, there's the original soil, okay, stop, and then there's the original soil. Russell Freight, we've done it for it's a very similar case to this. So it's not a tough restoration when you come up out of it. Then it becomes, do we plant plants back there? What do we do with the buffer zone coming back out of it? So that becomes a 7 or a 10-foot density. There's still loom back towards the Route 12 area. You can see where he did bulldoze, but the loom layer is there. We would just put back loom, restore the bank, plant what needs to be. That could either be on again, in most cases, I think this requires a plan.
Is the property line dispute?
The town does not know exactly where it is, and I don't think Mr. Perot knows where it is.
No,
exactly.
I definitely went over the line. I mean, there's no question about it.
The wetlands on the town.
I mean, that's why I'm here, because I went on your property and I had no business going on your property.
The one thing I told the surveyors, if we weren't even looking at any purchase, it would be one property line straight down to the town, and Bill, I think, was clear on it. Here's Perot, here's that. We don't have to go to front, we don't have to go to back, it doesn't have to be, but it would have to be one single accurate line, and then we know we're restoring on the towns, coming back, and then the town's restored, then Mr. Perot knows this is his over there, and that's how it stays.
All right. Let me offer you my thoughts.
Yes,
Again,
thank
this is
you.
solely me. I think you need to know what the property line is, and if there's any question, it does need to be surveyed so that everyone understands, and you understand, Mr. Perro, where your property ends and where the town
Yes.
property begins.
Well, right here, and it goes right over
This is
there.
what I sent, right,
Okay.
to show the silt fence, that you were getting
Yeah.
on the silt fence right
No,
away.
right from the end of the tie here over.
Yes, sir.
So none of that was yours?
Huh?
It might be 5 or 7 or 8 feet. There's something that he owns, but it's not a lot.
I think
Into that a little bit.
we are going to need a restoration plan showing, and basically, the wetland area has to be reestablished. And basically, what the protocol would be, what your plan would be to do that. Is this something you could put together and submit to us, say at the first meeting in September?
If Mr. Perot hires either one of these surveyors, I believe it could, because I normally would see this on a plan. We'd see at least topo in that just general area, the property line. I'd flag coming up with a natural wetland that isn't disrupted, both on the, whatever direction this is, let's see a north-south arrow. I would be flagging along the building, the natural, stopping at the fill, and then I would pick up flagging where it hasn't been altered over closer to 12. So then we would just be connecting the line where it is altered. In that area, we would be talking about removing the fill down to the original slope, bringing it back up, and then understand that would be the restoration of the pool area in the slope coming up out of the pool. And then we would come up to a level tier, which we had before. It's a fairly cut and dry because it wasn't a large area, so it's not, we've done a lot bigger, extensive alteration areas.
So our first meeting in September is September 9th.
9, we would, if Mr. Perot moves forward with hiring your field research is their name?
Field resource.
Field
I think
resources.
they're on Millbury Street.
Is that the list, Simonelli?
This is mine? Or is this theirs?
Diane, I did talk to Diane, and I know it was either between them or Mr. LaPrade, and I didn't care whichever one was better price for him.
Sure.
Because they can both do the job. It's just a surveying job.
Okay. So Sheila, do we have anything on the agenda for September
I
9th?
don't believe so.
Okay, so why don't we say 7 o'clock on September 9th?
ACC.
May I have a motion, please?
Motion move. So we keep doing that. Go ahead. To continue this to the September 9th meeting at 7 p.m.
Okay, is there
I'll second it.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, vote. Okay.
We can have plans into you early enough to actually have a hearing on that night. We will. If not, it will be a draft plan. And I'm talking about possibly, if there was a little bit more delay, we'll at least come in and tell you where we are, and hopefully it would only be 2 more weeks from there to actually have the...
Okay.
Thank you very much for your time.
It's growing back already, I'm telling you.
Thank you.
It's growing like a weed already.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Sean.
You too.
Okay, I didn't mean to forget you.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll talk tomorrow.
I can go now?
Yes, you can.
We'll talk tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Perro.
Oh, thank you.
Good night.
I was hoping to be out of here by 8.
No, it's not going to be realistic.
Those early meetings lately
No
have
whining.
been spoiled.
Sorry.
So you know what? If we're efficient, we can be out of here by 9.
She wasn't here for those meetings. Remember those meetings years ago? We went to like quarter of 11?
Well, this is everyone
Yeah.
likes to chat. Okay. All right.
8 o'clock, come on.
You know what it is? You're spoiled because we've been having...
We've been having really short meetings.
That's what I was
Don't
thinking.
get used to it.
Plans you never heard, and she's very knowledgeable, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
3 bridal path is here.
I understand that. That's the next time I'm going to call.
Okay.
Is Mr. Neliath?
Yes.
I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, sir.
You're right.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Sheila. I don't know the rest of your name. I talked to you.
Yes.
So my name is Sijoy Nagret. I live in 3 Bridle Path. I own 2 properties in Auburn.
Okay.
So the problem which I got the notice is my primary residence. They built a statue. And first of all, my sincere apology that I couldn't come to in front of the commission last month because there was some job-related thing going on with my company. So my sincere apology to everybody.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, I didn't know that we need to take a permit to build that patio, which is aligned with my deck. And I built it, and I got this notice. And also I piled some dirt or the loom there, which I took it from there. I just restored it back, and I have the pictures of the current state as of now.
Well, Mr. Neliath, I don't know if you remember, but this commission had issued an enforcement order back in 2008 when you built your deck without filing
Deck?
a request for determination. Yes, sir.
I didn't build a deck.
All right.
I didn't build a deck.
When
Sorry.
did you take title to the property?
What's that?
When did you take title to your house at 3 Bridle Path?
It's in 2005.
Okay. Well, again, based on a message I got from Mr. Benoit, it appeared, and I believe him when he says that we issued an enforcement order back in 2008.
2008, right.
But be that as it may, sir, the Welland area, as you know, is located, fairly close to the back of your house. And even if there's no disruption or impact on the wetland area, given the close proximity of your house to the wetland, you are required under the Wetlands Protection Act, and more specifically our wetland bylaw and regulations, to file a request of determination, which you didn't do.
I did.
And that's why we issued the enforcement order.
I understand, Chairman. Yeah. I understand that. So,
shortcut this way.
Yes.
Thank you.
You can just swipe it and just see the...
It's the paper structure, gotcha.
Yes, that's what I did.
This is also the first one to right. First one to right. Is that the wetland? Do you have the wetland?
The wetland is
starts?
right behind there.
Like right there? Oh, sorry.
All right.
I have like the worst time
Actually,
with
You
them.
can hold it up, I think we can all do it. Just
Yeah.
hold it up.
Yeah,
You don't have to pass it around.
Huh?
That's so much detail as we've got.
Okay.
It's right here.
That one right there, yeah.
So this is
that was like
this is how I build it. And
Mhm.
this is how it looks like.
Okay.
Yep.
Those are papers, the same as papers are sent around.
Right. So
Do you have any other plans to build
I
at
don't
your
have
house?
any, to be honest with you, I don't have any plans to disturb any wetland. I don't have any intention to build anything. No plans at all. And just to do a landscaping, that was my plan. I don't have any plans for doing anything else.
So the dirt that you dug up for your patio, you used it all to fill in the tire
Yes,
tracks?
yes, and whatever additional thing is all removed. This is the current state.
Right.
This the wetland is right this side, so I took the picture right there to just show my exact yard.
Okay. Or you're gonna plant grass seed to just...
Yes, I did. I put the grass seeds.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's what that is.
Okay.
Got it, yeah.
Good.
That's what I was asking.
All right. All right. Any questions from the board? Anything? All right. All right, Mr. Nelian, thank you for coming in. We will, there is an enforcement order currently in effect. We will discuss it, I think, later on today, so.
Okay, sounds
All right.
good. Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
I'll get an information in the mail, or Sheila will be contacting me, or something like that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, right.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
you. Have a good night.
Coming.
Is this your water?
Okay.
Is it-
Thank you.
It was.
Thank you, Sheila.
Okay, you're welcome.
Sir, can we help you?
I was here, but I missed my appointment. They were talking about some land next to me. I got a letter in the mail.
Okay, which land was that?
410, I'm at 410 Oxford Street, about a 4-building apartment.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, we continued that public hearing to our next meeting.
Oh,
So, and it's scheduled for August 26th at 7 p.m.
okay.
All right, so if you want to come back then, feel free to do so.
Now, they put the blue ribbons up sometime for I'm assuming that means it's wetlands?
Yes.
Okay.
Usually.
What's the buffer from the wetlands for them to build?
That's a good question. We have a 25-foot no-build zone, all right?
Okay.
If you want to go within 25 feet of the wetland, you're in need of waiver from us, and we don't give well waivers easily. There are certain requirements that need to be met. Anything that's filed within 100 feet is considered, 100 feet of a project within 100 feet is considered, it triggers our jurisdiction. 100 feet is considered a resource area. So all I can say is that we had certain questions. We want to take a site walk, which we will do before our next meeting. So based on, I guess, questions we had, it was Mr. McCarthy agreed to continue the public hearing for 2 weeks.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good night. Thank you.
There you go. Thank you. Okay. All right. Now, this gentleman has been very patient.
Yes.
So,
Take your time.
okay, so, since you're here and now that our public hearings are over, with regard to the request for determination,
The only thing that struck me is, just that we'd have appropriate erosion control measures on the corner there at the nearest light pole.
what about concerns that that's a wetland?
Well, I'm of kind of two minds on it. Unfortunately, from the pictures, it looks like that's all Phragmites, which is non-native, but typically grows in wet areas. So, in an ideal world, I would have preferred to see like cattails and stuff like that.
Sure.
I'm glad I didn't see purple loosestrife as well as Phragmites, but I mean, just looking at that vegetation alone, that suggests to me it's wet. So.
Well, doesn't that, in that case, if you think there's a wetland there, doesn't that require us to issue a positive determination?
Yes.
It would seem so.
Okay.
I have a question.
I mean, I think it'll be a fairly straightforward.
I have a question for the chair.
Sure.
Would be allowed to issue a negative determination if we felt that the impact was very minimal as far as the work being constructed? I know, I'm not trying to set a precedent here.
It doesn't seem like something we would do.
I would vote
Given
against
it's
that.
commercial, because it's a commercial property basically, it's not a homeowner doing a small project. Okay, just a question I had. Thank you.
I mean, it seems to me it would be a fairly straightforward NOI, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I think so too.
not complex.
So may I have a motion?
I propose we issue a negative determination on the property located, or the proposal for 209 Washington Street.
Negative determination.
Oh. Positive determination.
Okay, you sure?
Positive determination.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed to vote.
I oppose.
Okay.
I oppose. Just
All right.
on that one vote.
Okay, so
You need an NOI.
we need an NOI.
No problem. So, if I got that to you in the next 3 or 4 days, say, when would it be heard again?
Next meeting,
Which is
26th.
26th.
26th, excellent.
Okay, thanks for
When
waiting.
does he have to
No
get that
problem.
in until it's...
Well, that's what, because this is also in front of the zoning board too, or the planning board.
Okay,
So, and the building permit is also waiting for the results of both of these. So I'm just trying to keep the time and keep the client informed.
Okay.
when's your planning board meeting?
Say again?
When's your next planning board meeting?
25th.
Okay, figures.
So I'll lose a day, is basically what it boils down to.
I'll have to get that public hearing in tomorrow for it to be on the 26th, just the way our week's running in.
Oh,
You'll have to kind of just, wouldn't need the full notice of intent, but maybe just the check for the advertising.
when can you get us the form, the NOI? Can you get it to us by Friday?
I'm not here Friday.
Oh,
If you tell me to get it here tomorrow, I'll get it tomorrow.
Yeah.
she
Why don't you just call me
did.
in the morning?
Sure. Can I get your number, ma'am?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
508
Yep.
832-7719, and it's Sheila.
Sheila, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you for waiting.
No problem. 20 years in the service. Hard to complain.
Have a good night,
guys.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you,
Night.
sir.
Okay. Before we try to hurry off here,
We're not gonna hurry off.
good. I have to have everyone
You, knock it off.
sign.
Spoiled.
Sign the determination of applicability for Richard Chandler. No, this is for Chandler because we signed the wrong form last time. We signed, should I say you people signed?
And who gave it to us?
We were issued the
I
wrong
was just
form.
trying to see
We
who's
had
awake
faith in
here.
you.
Wait.
No,
Oh, you were all asleep.
All of us.
Yeah, uh-huh.
So here's the correct
That's why you're
form.
turning red.
You weren't here, so
I wasn't here, so
You're
I'm
upset.
good. Yeah, I would have
Okay.
caught it, hands down.
Uh-huh.
It's gonna stay.
we put our
Oh,
faith
boy.
in her.
I know. Gosh darn
We
it.
need a conservation assistant as a backup.
You know what's really good that you
Maybe she needs a conservator.
Go.
Someone's acting like a knucklehead.
Yeah.
Okay, now, Sheila, are you sure this is the proper form?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
She's
That's wrong,
positive.
man. You haven't even got the minutes yet.
Wow.
All right.
It's even got a little arrow on it. Sign here.
Impressive.
She's good.
We have to issue the order of conditions.
We have to do our conditions for Windmill Estates.
Actually, I'm gonna give that because I wasn't here.
Thank you.
Okay.
So we want to just sign the certificate of compliance for
for Bryn Mawr? Yes. I thought we did.
Yeah, we did.
You did, I'm getting, oh, here's the rest of it. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, that one's okay.
All right.
So for Windmill Estates, I'm advised that we have received a definitive subdivision plan. There were some minor changes required by the planning board, none of which affect the issues that we have addressed.
What's that?
It's on 6 of 16.
If you're looking for just erosion control, detention basins, that sort of thing, it's 6 of 16.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Sure.
I can handle this.
Okay?
Yes.
Is there a motion?
I think Dan should do it as co-chair.
Guys are just so chicken.
I know.
I would do it all the time.
You have the
I
order
want you guys
conditions.
to-
Look at, he has the order conditions.
I
He's
handed it to him.
oh!
You guys need to step up, man.
I know. I'm trying.
Okay.
I'm trying. I'm almost there.
I make a motion that we do standard conditions.
All right, plus?
1, 2, 3. Application, yes.
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 4,
Yeah, continue.
5,
Yeah,
6.
good.
Wait a minute. There is riprap around the retaining pond, we didn't, right, correct?
Yes,
Like 7,
okay,
8,
good.
9, because
Yes.
it is, okay, when its place is done.
Right,
Did you do a habitat? Do we know?
no, there's no
No.
issue
Okay.
habitat.
So 10, yes?
No,
No. 11,
yes,
12, and 13.
I don't know, is 12 doesn't really apply.
12, 3 minutes from both. Okay, scratch 12, so 11 and 13.
Okay, so, standard order plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Give me a copy of this.
7, 8, 9, 11, and 13.
Correct.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, vote. Thank you, Tom.
Good job.
Additional copies.
I'm getting closer.
I'm not going to be shy anymore.
I'm not gonna do
We're going
it.
to take prisoners. Okay.
Let's get this signed before we...
Okay, yes. Make sure it's the
Something
right form.
else. She's got something.
Just got something for you. Here you go.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Got here by 9 o'clock.
I know. You're doing good, Mike.
Thanks.
Yeah, right.
Except. There we go.
That's high praise.
Everyone should be a little bit different.
It's a good thing she showed up.
I'm here.
Jeepers.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I still have to do laundry, pad,
Where are you going now?
London and Paris.
It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tough.
Brutal.
Brutal.
How long?
Now, forget it, man.
Do
You're
it
not
4
gonna get
nights in London,
any
4 nights
sympathy
in
from me.
Paris.
Yeah.
God,
I know.
thanks for coming. Okay. So Sheila,
Yes.
under other business, there's an item here, 128 Auburn Street, parking and wetland. What,
Yes.
can you be more specific, please?
What?
Stuff she can handle.
That sounds very inappropriate.
I emailed this to you folks on July 23rd.
I was on vacation.
I got it.
I was.
Okay.
Carry on.
There
I was
have
on
been
vacation.
parking of vehicles in the wetland down there.
Like
So
right next to the
Caleb Mooney
pond?
went down and did
I
an
probably did a while
inspection.
back.
Oh, okay.
By
And-
email.
Who did an
Yeah,
inspection?
Caleb Mooney,
Okay.
our inspector.
All right.
And sent a letter.
Limo
Some
too.
of them were unregistered.
Excuse me. There were all the pictures there, I ran them off.
So they were parked right up against the edge of Auburn Pond?
Wow.
Well,
Well, that
no.
Not
This
really.
is Perry Street.
Oh, I thought,
I'm sorry.
128
I thought you
Auburn
said,
Street.
oh, I thought you said
Okay, it's
28.
128 Auburn. Okay, so
128.
it's kind of on the corner of Perry and Auburn.
That's good.
128. There we go.
So it's the wetland of the bay. You can see something parked way back there now, I think.
So,
So where's the well in? I see a
They've been-
pool.
so all these cars parked and not on
I
pavement?
don't know, we had, I think there was a problem there a while
Yeah,
back
that is
too.
interesting.
And it was corrected and now it's happening again.
My question would be though, what gives us jurisdiction? I mean, I'm looking at these pictures and wetland doesn't yell or scream out to me. I see cars that are parked, but I don't see that they're in a wetland area.
So this was, this was observed by an abutter?
Well, we had the complaint by an abutter.
That's all for photos, right?
Why don't we do this? I'll follow up with Caleb tomorrow.
Yeah, they're being stored on.
Stored on unpaid surfaces.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, right.
I'm just not, it's not clear to me that there's a wetland though.
Is it a violation
I
to
was
store
just
on
gonna
unpaid
say.
service that's not adjacent to a wetland?
I don't know.
But that wouldn't necessarily be our
That's correct.
It's for
issue.
unregistered vehicles, correct?
It was storage of them on
Unregistered
unpaid.
vehicles.
Unpaid
Stored on
services.
unpaid
That was
services.
Okay.
the main problem.
That was it, okay.
All right, the next item you have is Mass DOT Plaza demo for demolition, correct?
Yeah.
But that's not going to come or happen for some time.
Yes,
So why is it on our agenda?
for
That was when you were away too.
No, no, no.
Oh, Mass DOT Plaza demo. the
It
last
says
one.
Mass
This may be a
DOT
zoning
Plaza
question.
demo.
Oh,
Yeah, that's it right there. I ran it off, she sent it to us, and I guess you were.
All right, so this is a project that may not happen for some time, right?
Are they looking at eliminating all of the total
I think
booths and putting in the overhead lighting and like they have up in New
well, just
Salisbury,
that I
whatever?
had gotten some correspondence on it, that's why just if anyone wanted to
It's gonna be a
discuss it.
while, it's gonna take a while.
100% fast lane.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think so.
Proactive.
I'm kind of interpreting it. It says,
I want you to be aware.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
there we go.
Oh, and not
I'm
those
aware.
overhead ones where you can just go through at 65.
I think so, I think so.
You've raised my awareness, thank you.
Where is the other one? There's
My
one.
pleasure.
There's
Okay.
one
When I
up
go
that goes
to-
to 95, that one right up past
Well, when I go
Salisbury.
to New Hampshire, I see them up there
Exactly.
too.
When I go up to Wells, up to, right, correct.
Sheila?
Yeah, there's no slowing down required at all.
You'd be happy to know that I did review the minutes.
Oh,
All right.
I just wanted to mention one more thing. What happened with 394? Are you going to do Rochdale Street? 394?
I did not go out there.
All right,
We'll have to go out there.
all right. And did I give you one of her plans?
No,
I didn't.
No.
I don't have any of her.
Okay, well,
not that I'm aware.
I give you this one, can you return it?
Sure, sure. If I don't lose it, I'll return it.
By definition,
That's fair, right?
if I lose it, I won't be returning it.
She's giving me some extra seeds.
Okay.
We'll be safe.
Don't you have one of these?
I'll file it away.
No, give it back to me. It's my only copy.
I have one. I think I have like 3. And I took a picture of them on my phone.
Sheila, is our special order conditions available online?
I'll print it.
You can just throw one in our Gmail
Possibly
box.
not.
Yes,
Just email it to her.
that's a good idea. Okay. Excellent idea.
That's splendid.
Just send it to our Gmail address.
Yeah,
That's a great word, splendid.
That's good.
Splendid. Splendiferous.
Okay.
So you're gonna do a site visit there?
Yeah, so though I can't do it this weekend, but I will do it next weekend.
So we have site visits to Herb Chambers,
Yes.
Diamond,
Not necessary.
okay, and,
And 394 Rochdale.
right,
Okay, so let's go over the meeting minutes. They really shouldn't take that long.
I looked at them also and I didn't really see anything. Maybe you saw
Nothing
something.
jumped out at me.
Only a couple.
Nothing smacked me in the face.
Okay.
which ones are we doing here now? All of them.
All of them?
Yeah.
Okay, I only have one.
Yeah, only-
For May 27th.
Some of the meetings that you weren't here for, I might not have given you.
Okay.
Okay, right. So don't worry about that, obviously.
Oh, May 27th.
Okay. For May 27th,
Okay,
if you go to page 2, and actually, these are, see, my only comment for May 27th. So you're getting better at these.
let's see.
7:30, 526 Rochdale Street. It's the 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the sentence that begins with standing water.
Yes,
The pit is 6 inches to 12 inches deep, and you wrote "and only water collects." I actually crossed out "only" and made it "water only collects." So you invert, I just changed the order,
oh,
okay? Water only collects.
okay.
All right, and that's the only comment I had for May 27th. Does anyone have any comments for May 27th? Anyone? Okay. Is there a motion?
Motion to accept the minutes as amended.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
You
Opposed?
weren't there, Dan, so does that matter?
Oh, I guess I have to.
You have to abstain.
Abstain.
Okay, so, all
That's it, abstain, Daniel.
right,
don't
so
have them in
Tom,
front of me.
you move to accept?
Yes, as amended.
Michelle, can you second?
I second.
Okay.
Usually I'm here.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? You abstain because you weren't here?
Abstain, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, very good.
So
All right.
she's abstaining also, is that
She wasn't a member.
not here.
I don't remember.
Okay, so that's down. Next set,
Here, you can do this one because I have to abstain.
June 10th of 2015. The first thing I noted, Sheila, was that Michelle was absent.
Correct.
You didn't note that though in the meeting minutes.
Why,
the
did I
10th?
say she was here?
No, you didn't say anything. It just says in attendance, me, Louise, Tom, Dan, and Chuck. But you didn't. She was just a ghost.
On the draft I have, it says absent Michelle
Yeah, so this one here that she just handed me actually
I
has
have
that.
it.
All right. Well,
So she fixed it
You
after
must have
yours
had
went
the
out.
first draft.
First draft.
Oh.
1A.
Okay, that's fine. All right. We'll have a chat later.
It happens when they change something in the matrix.
New adjustment, right?
That's funny. Okay, and 498 Rochdale Street.
Yeah,
Michael Garland stated the site now has a wet meadow. And I crossed out the rest of it because I don't think Joe Bellino said there was a wet meadow there. We saw there was a wet meadow there. So it should read, Michael Garland stated the site now has a wet meadow, period.
okay.
Okay? The next, under 733 Jacobson Drive,
Yep,
the sentence that begins the installation of a 6-foot fence. You forgot the word fence. You see that?
minor detail.
I know.
They're so important.
Sometimes I think you leave out the words to test us. Okay?
I think I've tested myself.
She's not denying it. Okay, same 7:30 public hearing. Second line from the bottom, it says Mr. Forsberg has placed the property up for sale.
Okay,
Okay, and that's it. 745, 526 Rochdale Street. It's the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth line beginning with the word weeks.
yeah,
It says there was, you wrote there was no land isolated and subject to flooding. It should read there was no isolated land subject to flooding. You See that?
So
Yes, I
swamp
do.
land and isolated.
Yes.
And then, after we moved and we voted, you then also had a butter present in favor, Nicole. Cross that out, we don't know who Nicole is.
Okay, all right.
I'm sure she does,
I
but
thought maybe someone here
and
might
we
know
usually,
last name.
we usually don't ask for the abutters
We don't
too.
poll butters.
That's right, okay. And then,
Do you like this?
finally, Sheila, on that same page,
Yes,
okay, where it's 805 to 809 Washington Street.
yeah,
You wrote, the vote was 3-1. Daniel Reich abstained as he was absent from the last meeting. The only problem with that is that there were 5 members present at the meeting on June 10th. Okay?
thought you'd catch that.
So it should be 4, and it's really not, no one opposed it. It should be
Okay.
4 were in favor and then Dan abstains.
He was working on his vacation the rest of it.
So can you put in was 4 in favor?
Yes.
Okay. All right. On the next page, it says, it should be a negative order of conditions,
Oh,
not determination, negative order of conditions.
yeah.
Will be issued. As the project, and then I would just cross out the next portion of that, is impracticable for the area. Just, it should read, a negative order of conditions will be issued as the project does not meet criteria in section 1.11. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm almost done. After the 3 numbered criteria, it says the commission felt there may be a practical alternative without having to waive the regulations. It's just a question of tense for have.
Having.
Okay. And then after that, it says Charles motion issue a negative order of conditions, not negation. It's just a
What is it?
negative order of conditions.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
Okay. And again, where it says second by Tom, the vote was 4 in favor.
4
And Dan abstained.
in favor to deny.
He didn't, 4 in favor. No, he issued a motion for a negative order of conditions. The vote was 4 in favor. Not to deny, was to
Okay.
approve the negative order of conditions.
Okay.
And that's all I have for June 10th. Does anyone have any other additions? I know it's exciting, isn't it?
Motion to accept the meeting minutes of June 10th, 2015 as amended.
Is there a second? Dan, you can second.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I
Opposed?
abstain.
And you need to abstain too,
Abstain.
Carolyn.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. That's
Limited
right.
options here.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we're almost done here. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
No way. I think you're going over.
It's getting
dark out, there's a light.
I can see the light going out in her eyes.
Okay.
Should I ask Mike?
I just looked at
Can we approve with 3 votes?
Yes,
We can?
Yes.
For meeting minutes? Okay.
yes. June 24th. Second page, 715, 219 West Street. It's the sentence, I think it's the 3rd sentence down or 4th sentence down, begins with present. Explain that the Title V, it should have test after Title V.
Wait a minute.
June 24,
Yes.
second page, 715.
Okay.
Present was Mark Farrell,
third line down.
3rd line down.
Okay.
Explain that the Title V, it should read test.
Test.
Okay? And then 4 lines below that where it begins with wetland vegetation.
Yep.
Instead of saying consists, I just put in includes wet maple swamp and barberry.
Okay.
Just cross out rocky.
Okay, it was Rocky something, I didn't know.
Right, so I'm just saying wetland vegetation includes includes cross out of and put in red maple, swamp, and barberry.
Okay.
Okay?
No, she'll just
Underneath
change
that-
them and file them, right?
Straw wattles will be installed 30 feet from the wetland instead of 2.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines below that. A revised plan, you see that?
Yes.
Was submitted along with the abutters notification cards. And those are all the comments I have on June 24th. Anyone else?
I just have to say, I think that Sheila did an excellent job of condensing the 733 Jacobson Drive. I think you did very...
She
I
did.
think- I think you did a fabulous job on that.
She did.
I'm just gonna say.
Okay. You know,
Thank you.
okay, so anyway, is there a motion?
I will move to accept the minutes for June 24th.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Amendments.
With the
With
as
amendments.
amended, that's right.
Sorry.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
I
Opposed? Abstentions?
Extension.
Abstention.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay. And last but not least, this was also actually very good.
Yeah, got a few.
Right along.
Okay, July 8th meeting minutes. Under 7 p.m., JW Land and Development, beginning with John Stelmach. I sort of condensed it a little bit. John Stelmach stated the public hearing of the planning board was kept open to see if there were any changes from the Conservation Commission. So I would cross out had successful discussion, period, the public hearing. I would cross that all out.
All right, wait a minute. Stated the public hearing of the planning board had successful discussion, and then cross out the next sentence?
No, cross out had successful discussion,
Okay,
then cross out the public hearing.
okay,
So now it reads, John Stelmach stated the public hearing of the planning board was kept open to see if there were any changes.
okay.
And then farther down, 7th line from the bottom, beginning with John Stelmach,
Yeah?
stated the large replication area will start first. And that's all I have for the July meeting minutes.
I have on the third line at 7 p.m., it says present were, and then it says were present at the end of that sentence.
Oh, you're right.
Eliminate one of them.
Wait a second.
It's 7 o'clock. Present were or were present.
Okay, thank you.
How about, well, which one do you want to cross out?
Last one, you crossed out the last one.
I
Okay,
already crossed out the last one.
He did
That's
cross
fine.
the last one.
okay. Is there a motion?
I will move to accept the minutes as amended for July 8th.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Abstention.
Okay. Great. So we're
Oh, boy.
caught up,
All right.
We'll be looking at it.
except we need the meeting minutes for July 22nd. And I'm sure you're working on those diligently.
Not yet.
Sorry.
I
Yeah,
can't
I
lie.
wanted to give her kudos and she denied me.
Yes, you did.
All right.
Turned you right back.
Okay, does anyone have anything else?
I don't know, so we've got the meetings there, the walks.
Did we set
I
site
think
visits?
that's it.
Did we set any site visits?
Not specifically.
Okay,
Okay, I can tell you where we're going to visit. I just can't tell you when we're going to visit.
okay,
Okay.
okay, great.
I have, I'm going to be away this weekend, so I can't do it this weekend, but I am available the following Saturday.
Tough one.
And
Flying home.
you'll be, traipsing around in Europe.
We'll be in the air.
So what I can do is
I could
I
do
will send-
Sunday, I can't do Saturday.
I can send an email and let people know.
Okay.
Okay?
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Does anyone have anything else?
No,
Motion to adjourn?
We needed-
I will
I'll second
second
that.
that.
I'll let her have that one. She's
I'll
gonna
second
get out
that
of here
one.
for the past hour and a half.
All right, so who made the motion?
I did.
She's gonna be gone, so anyway.
We'll give it to Michelle this
I'll let
time.
her second this.
And I get the second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed to vote.
Woo-hoo.
2 minutes and 4 seconds.